All right, here we go again. Another episode of Everything's Everything. I'm your host, Stephon. I'm
It's
here
your
with my
boy
boy.
Jiggy.
All right. And once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for being a part of this broadcast. Thank y'all for the likes, comments, shares. Hey, we got the Instagram page up. You can see that in our descriptions, or not description for the video, but in our bio, it'll be right there. So we're trying to get better at being social media savvy, putting out more clips, putting out more content, and really making y'all have like a plethora of ways to interact with us versus just the likes and the comments. But still, like, comment, and subscribe right here. This is gonna be episode 12, right?
Yes, sir.
Can't believe we're on 12 episodes already.
12 episodes, bro.
Man, we've been consistent. Like, when we set out
Yes.
to do this, bro, like, I didn't think 12 episodes would go by like this fast. Like, I'm looking at like, dang, should we do something special for episode 20?
It's probably something special, but I'm just loving the consistency, bro.
Yeah, nah,
just
bro.
making
This
sure we push this
has
out
been
there to
a
the people.
this has been a fun journey, bro. How you been overall? How's your week been?
Bro, my week has been like extraordinary. I'm not gonna lie. I've been fixing up things in my house. You know what I
Nice.
mean? So I'm from New York, so I'm becoming more of a handyman. You get what I'm saying?
Tools and hammers.
You get what I'm saying? Family doing great,
Good.
so I
good,
can't
good.
complain.
Love that.
Hairline came back, so
Oh
I'm
yes,
all right.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Hey,
So-
I got the do rag on today. I need a little haircut, so I'm gonna see my barber in a little bit. But I'm glad to see that your hairline is thriving and healthy, hair flourishing. You got to love it, right?
How about you, bro? How was your week?
Week was cool. Kind of standard. A lot of editing. Just been busy, bro. Nothing too exciting for me this week. Just
Yeah.
day-to-day work. Managing the restaurant, coming here, recording, trying to edit each day. Trying to the weather here. If y'all don't know, we in South Florida and we got a cold snap. Now, for me, as a native of South Florida, 46 degrees in the morning is insane. I barely want to get out of bed. I'm pretty sure you're more used to like this is like Tim weather back home, right?
He said,
It's Tim's.
It's Tim water.
It's like Tim's weather, right?
Nah, for sure, man. Like, honestly, right now, at 46, I got up the other day. It was beautiful, bro. I put on a little sweatsuit. I was straight, 46 degrees. It went up to during the day, I think, like 60?
Yeah, about
So
that.
it's cool. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I know it's hard to get adjusted to it.
Yeah, it
Almost,
is.
I know you talking about Tim's. I almost bought out a Pelly Pel. You feel me? A
Oh,
leather. You know
hey,
what I mean?
Pelly
I know
Pel.
y'all don't know all the way about that, but that's what I really want to bring out.
Tell-
Forget
you-
the Tim's.
Did you have some Geno Greens back in the day?
Nah, bro. I had Pele. Pele.
Okay.
I had some
Pele
Maurice.
will get the job
You
done.
get what I'm saying? New York, we was big on Nike boots, so Nike boots. I don't know if y'all know about that, but
We caught on a little bit late. Like Nike boots came around like 2009ish to like maybe 12ish. It was a little bit of a fad. It was like that and polo boot. Floridas were a little bit different. There was a moment where Sperry's, Nike boots, and polo boots could do you no wrong. And we'll probably get into some polo talk a little bit later. But once again, thank y'all for tuning in. It's been a very interesting week news-wise. A lot's happened, but before we get into some of the news, I kind of just have like a bit of a think piece because in this current internet environment, bro, we have this obsession with quote unquote high value, bro. And you hear people talking about what's a high value man, what's a high value woman. I'm not going to be here to tell y'all what makes a high value man or what makes a high value woman. What I will say is I think we need to stop putting value on humans and like turning humans into commodities and like attaching our value to like monetary things, To me, it just like reeks of like slavery. Like I think one of the quickest ways to dehumanize somebody is to put a price tag on them.
right.
As if they could be bought or sold, right? And I think in this internet era that we're in, we do that to ourselves. Like we're kind of like virtual slaves to our phones, our avatars online, and like our public perception, right? So like this idea of a high value man or a high value woman is like, I think is a way for us to demoralize each other and saying like, well, you're not high value if you don't make this amount, or if you're not high value if you have more than one kid or two kids, or if you're a single mom or anything like that. To me, it's one of the sadder things I see online, because people make big platforms out of this, and I can see how it takes a toll on people's mental health, and that having that pressure to want to like achieve a certain financial status. Now, mind you, we all want to be comfortable. Like that's normal. You know what I'm saying? Like no one really wants to be struggling.
Yep.
And that's fine. But I think the fact that we take away our humanity from each other when we start talking about you're not worth this or you're not a high value if you're not that. But really and truly, bro, we're all human. Like every human's valuable.
Bro, you're absolutely right, bro. And one thing I do agree with is definitely the humanity part. When we always want to keep that in mind when we state things. But the high value part, bro. Honestly, bro, I'm just being 100% honest with you. It reeks insecurity, right? And when I hear that high value, a lot of people, to me, a lot of people grow up. You know what I'm saying? They don't get the attention that's wanted, right? And when they grow up and they start to distinguish themselves from certain people, they want to label themselves, right? And a lot of people fall in that, that little spectrum where they want to consider themselves high value. Honestly, bro, whatever you want to consider yourself, you consider yourself that. If that makes you feel great, feel great. If you want to be a turtle, be a turtle. I don't care. But you know what the thing about it, bro, is just that if that, don't do it and feel like you have to make other people look bad. And that's the bad part about it. And that's the thing I don't like, right? You can be high value, but don't make it seem like just because you're high value, somebody is low value.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? And I feel like that's the humanity part that you were speaking to, which I totally agree with. You get what I'm saying? But if I was just one word, not even one word, just one phrase for it, it just reeks insecurity from people who never got the attention that's wanted and they want to distinguish themselves. They want to make themselves feel better. And when I look at things like that, it ain't my problem. It's your problem.
That's a fact. They're projecting. And bro, I think the one that kind of like struck a nerve, and this wasn't even like a recent thing like in the last couple of weeks, but it's just kind of been on the back of my mind because it's so many of the manosphere guys, and when they attack women, especially like women with kids, bro, it strikes a nerve because, bro, they'll say a woman with this amount of kids or this amount of baby daddies is quote unquote like low value. To me, those situations always said more about the men than the women. You know what I mean? I know not every situation is like the same, but why is she single with a kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, why isn't the dad there to step up and help aid her and raise a child? You know what I mean? Coming from a single parent household myself, bro, I watched my mom just work miracles. I watched so many women outside of even her, just from some of my friends that parents just work miracles, where it's like, as a kid, you're not thinking about bills and, the clothes, like how you get into school or what it takes for you to live life like as comfortable as possible. Like I've been blessed in that manner. And to me, it's like, y'all are so backwards because to me, that is screaming the highest value, the level of sacrifice that comes with it and the dedication that comes with it is something that should be applauded. It shouldn't be coming from like dumbasses on the internet saying like a woman's low value because she has 2 kids or 1 kid or whatever the case may be. Hey, listen, bro, for all y'all out there, if you're young, maybe you're a single guy, maybe you have no kids, right? There is an infinite value in a woman with a kid still. It's just up to you to decide if you're ready to accept that value and whatever comes with it. And if you're not, that's fine too. Like you said, like to your point, you don't have to tear someone else down because of that, right? If you're not ready for that, then move over and let someone else who is step into her life and understand that that woman brings an immense value to someone's life too. And it's not for us to decide who is and who isn't high value.
Bro, I agree, bro. I mean, just like you know what I mean? Seeing my mom do a whole bunch of things growing up and doing it by herself, if I was to look at that, I wouldn't be able to consider that low value.
At all.
I think that when it comes to that low value, the person that's low value in that situation is the man that doesn't, contribute or help out the woman. That's the low value portion, right? And he may put that woman in a situation to be at low value because she's dealing with that person. You get what I'm saying? At that point, because your mom did it and my mom did it, where they'll build themselves up to build that value.
Right.
Because dealing with low value people will bring you low value.
That's a
and then
fact.
you have to build yourself up. If I was to just talk about that point where a lot of people on the internet are talking about low value women, it's like it's reflecting. They're talking probably about themselves. They see themselves in that situation, and I think it's more testament to what you're saying. If you see that, how about you build with her? Why would you decide to do the things that's needed, or if you see that's low value, if you see a problem, what's the solution? Don't just comment and talk about it and how much is a problem, but you know what I mean? But I can see too in different situations where people may feel like it's more of a responsibility for them to have to deal with a child knowing that they don't have one.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But as far as value is concerned, that has nothing to do with
Right.
somebody's value.
Exactly. At all. And like, what we always say up here, bro, if you're offering criticism without a solution, you're just ridiculing somebody. Right. So no one wants to be ridiculed. Like, offer a solution, be the solution. And like the main point, bro, is like getting back to having that common sense of humanity. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Let's learn to see each other as more than what we have or what we offer. I'm sure you've heard this before, like, oh, I bring something to this. If I ever cut someone off from me, it's going to be the curse of their life, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, no matter what, I mean, everybody's gone through a breakup or a friendship split, and y'all breathe the same way. Like, none of us are that important. We're important to the people who love us the most, right? So I just want to have a quick talk about everybody. Keep the humanity first. Like, you're more than your situation. You're more than the things you possess. You're more than, what you portray to the internet. And speaking of more than, your situation, there was, how do we say this? There's a current situation, an old situation, with a basketball legend. Maybe we can't say NBA legend, but a basketball legend for sure, bro.
Yeah. But I mean, so this week, I know a lot of people probably seen this, like Sebastian Telfair, like, had his documentary, and he was just, he showed a little bit more about what's going on in his life at this point, right? Him living back in the projects, him being a father, right? And he was crying, and he showed the real. One thing I do want to shout out, bringing up that story, is that, I just want to thank Sebastian Telfair for actually showing the world what's really going on with him, even after having that money,
right,
and going through the things that he did go through, right?
Right.
I also want to say it is not tough for a man to have to support his whole family, right, and the people around him, right, and to make sure he keeps that afloat,
right,
if you don't have certain things in place,
right.
You get what I'm saying? So anybody who's looking at Sebastian's fall, looking at how he fell, you get what I'm saying, and looking at him like he's not probably high value, you're wrong. You get what I'm saying? Because anytime a man takes on it, when he moves out of his house, he buys his house, he buys his mother a house, he makes sure the people around him is good, and he happens to fail and nobody's around him.
Right.
Yeah, you know what happens? He's put in that place because he's going to show how much of a man he is and how much he can overcome that situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I just wanted to point out that situation because it's just like, I just want, when you see things like that and you see people go through those things, and one of the main points about it too is that, it's financial literacy. You know what I mean? And understanding certain things at a point when he was younger so when he got to the NBA, it was like clockwork. You know what I mean? I feel like that's very important. You know what I mean? And I want, I wish people would go ahead and look at that situation and look at it like, I'm not gonna let anybody say anything or make me feel a certain way.
Right.
I'm still gonna be a man. I'm still gonna be here for my family, and I'm still gonna do what I have to do, no matter if I'm in the projects or not.
Right.
That's how I value.
I like that. Man, seeing the imagery was kind of shocking too. I'm gonna give a little bit more backstory. Shabazz, aka Bazzy Telfair, was one of the original like viral high school sensations. Way before YouTube, way before highlight culture snuck its way into the game. I, as a South Florida kid, being, I think, what batch we graduated, like 04, I want to say, about?
04? Yeah, probably around 04. Yeah, 04 after, because LeBron came out 03.
Yeah.
Right. So Bazzi came out a year after.
It was like 04. Coney Island legend. If you're a real hooper, you've probably seen pictures of him being a young child next to another Coney Island legend, Stephon Marbury. You know, Stephan's just do legendary things. You know, Stephan's such a great name. It's not about me. It's not about me, right? Get back to Bazzi. Just an elite high school guard. Came straight out of high school. Bazzi's nothing but what, 5'10", 5'11"?
Yeah.
Electric. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And not only was his rise phenomenal, but he also gave us one of the three best hoop documentaries. It was Bazzi's Through the Fire.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Hoop Dreams documentary, and for me, it was Nick Young's documentary. I think it was a Second Chance. Let me just look it up, the name real quick, because I want to shout out Nick Young, because I feel like there's a lot of parallel between those two. Second Chance season, where Nick Young's high school season was documented, and they showed his struggles, whether it be in the classroom, whether it be with certain gang affiliations, and things he was dealing with growing up in Los Angeles area. So Bazzi's currently serving time for it was the health fraud things going on in the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prior to him serving his time, I guess the episodes are short. They're like 5 and 7 minutes each.
Yep.
He's documenting like his current living situation. Mind you, this is a guy who played 9-10 years in the league.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, back then, guys weren't making the $100 million, $50 million in 3 years type contracts. So the money wasn't the same, but still has made a pretty sizable, large sum of money. You did a good job earlier bringing up the fact of where he comes from. This is a kid from the projects in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You can only imagine the pressure that comes with that.
Right.
Where you now are the sole provider for everybody.
Yeah.
Mother, girlfriend, father, brother, sister, every nigga that grew up in your project house, damn near. Somebody's looking to you with a handout. And you want to bring people with you.
Mm-hmm.
You did a good job of also bringing up that financial literacy part. Part of financial literacy is knowing when and how to say no. Because I can almost guarantee you everybody that's Sebastian Telfair has given to, they're not there to give that back, even in a little bit, And if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. That's the part that kind of hurt me. Listening to him talk about the thought process on why he chose to go along with that health fraud. For me, it just screamed so many things, because I even know so many people in my life that, like, when you dig yourself into a hole, we have such a bad habit of trying to get out in one leap, in one shot. We don't want to, the time that we took to dig the hole, we don't want to take that time to climb out of it. We want to get on a springboard and jump back out of it and be right back to where we started.
Yeah.
And that's such a dangerous mentality. It's the same way, like, I know people who, they won't invest $200 into a stock or an index or bonds, but they'll be quick to go spend it on a sports ticket at a casino on scratch-offs. And it's like, dang, bro, like, if you lost that money, you could have still had that money in something. But it's too slow. We are so infatuated with the idea of fast money, instant gratification, instant this, instant that. And God forbid we get back to a place where we're operating out of desperation. Desperation gonna lead to desperate measures for a lot of people. Like that, like him just talking about, like, yo, I need this money, and I'm gonna do this, and it's like no one got hurt. It's like, bro, you're gonna hurt yourself. The most important person is you. And it just broke my heart seeing that, bro. I mean, they got real, they got gritty with it. They really showed his living conditions.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but I mean, his living conditions is nothing different than how most New Yorkers live.
That's a fact.
What makes it crazy about the situation is the fact that, you know, he used to have millions and now he's back there. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, bro. Like Sebastian Telfair being in that situation, bro. I know, like, you know, he made bad decisions. You know, should never trust it, or, you know, probably not gave the money to certain people, whatever the case is. When you have millions, you know, you have millions of dollars, bro, right? And you have agents and you have all these things, right? Yeah, when you remember, we last week we were talking about the Paul Pierce, and it was a totally different subject. But when you get to a certain point, it becomes hard to distinguish who's really there for you and who's really not.
That's a fact,
right? And Sebastian Telfair's situation, he didn't make drastic measures. He just thought, oh well, if I have this money, it's gone. And it goes back to you saying knowing when to say no or not. You get what I'm saying? And you know what I mean. So if he would have took the time to take those little drastic measures to really weed out the people who's supposed to be there, you get what I'm saying? Which goes into, like, we've been talking about financial literacy. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how, because it's really up to the individual when you're in a situation like living in a project or living around so many people you grew up with to really start to really separate yourself from. It's not an easy thing. It's very hard. You get what I'm saying? And it's hard to say no to people who's been helping you to get to the point to where you've gotten to. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, that's why I just look at it. I'm like, you know what? I understand why he may have gotten there, and I hope he's conscious of understanding how not to go back to that situation. And my heart broke too, bro, just listening to that situation. But I'm pretty sure that quick money scheme that he was trying to do is because he knows he has to support a lot of people. And sometimes I feel like and also too, maybe in the back of his mind, he thought, hey, listen, I'd rather sacrifice myself for the betterment of my kids in this situation. If this happens and it just didn't work out, you get what I'm saying? He learns from this. You get what I'm saying?
But that's a gamble, I think, for a lot of us who we kind of gamble with our lives. We have this like all or nothing scenario, like that's what hitting a lick is like. You're gonna try to hit this lick, and it's gonna be all or nothing. And far too many times we crap out. Like, we're not even talking about Bazzi being free right now. Like, this is old footage. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bazzi said he has two twins. He has a boy and a girl. You know, you can see, if you guys take the time to go look, you can kind of see the pains in his eyes where he talked about, I think he said he lost his mother and his father. No, he lost a brother. A brother, and was it his mother?
His mom,
and his mom. And then he said that God blessed him with two twins, a boy and a girl. Heart sunk. Like, my heart sunk, because I'm like, bro. And like, he has these newspapers and magazines. He wants to make sure his kids read about him and know who their dad is. And that hit me on a personal level. I probably can't really speak about it too much now because I think, you know, everybody's life is involving someone else's life. So me talking about certain things is going to involve someone else's life who didn't volunteer to be on the internet. But I can tell you I've seen that kind of fall off, like, firsthand. And it's not easy. And I understand, like, you going from being such a provider. I don't think it's kids. These kids are young, so they literally don't even know his dad was that. You know what I mean? Not wanting them to probably see you in a certain light of, like, quote unquote, a failure. And we're not up here to say Baz is a failure in any shape or form. I think what we're here to say is know how to value yourself and understand that, like, the quick way is often the most dangerous way. Like, those shortcuts often come with way too much heavy consequences. And for us as black men, we got to learn that we can't gamble with our lives like that. I think there's hope for Shabazz, though. I think on the bright side is, right, we live in a very digital age. And even just him having this footage lets you know, like, he can get into this content creating business. You know, when he gets out, I mean, mind you, I'm not comparing him to AI in a sense, but AI at one point had financial trouble. But AI is AI. Like, his cachet and, like, what he means has so much value that By the time he did his rebrand with his new deal with Reebok, and he's put in certain positions like as an executive in some sort. You see him, he has a new like docuseries out on Amazon. Like he kind of just bounced back. He got his, high school tournaments back for kids all over America coming in to be like, yo, I'm part of the Allen Iverson Classic or whatever the case may be. Shabazz is a New York legend. It's the mecca of basketball. I'm sure a ton of people, whether it be God, Sham God, it could be Kenny Smith, I'm positive, can reach out to other basketball people in New York and get on his feet. One thing that was a little bit telling for me when he said that, like he was in court and the judge was saying like there's certain things mentally he's not ready to do, that like getting a 9-to-5, that broke my heart because I could already knew, like if you're having that mindset already, which you're almost incarcerating yourself already. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're going to go and do a desperate act to try to get back what you have, and he's not gonna get back in the NBA, but you can still make a living off of basketball. And if your mind is right, he can do that. I mean, like I said, this dude is a legend, bro. Like you gotta understand, like I'm not from New York. I knew who he was.
Yeah.
Like hoopers across the nation knew who he was before all the other stuff. So I just, you talk about surrounding yourself with the right people. You talk about having that financial literacy. I just hope that, I don't know when his release date is, how much time he has left. What's funny about it is people were making jokes because they said that Puff was talking to him because they're in the same, it wasn't called like Fort Dix, pause, saying that him and Puff was keying it up. So I'm like, I was like, hey,
they're not in the same jail, are they? Isn't Puff in Miami?
Nah, he up there. Bro, he's really up there. Like I don't know where Fort Dix is. DIX is this how it said. You two don't demonetize us.
Yo, but hey, shout out to New York, man. I know we're gonna overcome this, man. Bassy, you'll be back home, and
he'll be back home,
things,
and bro,
especially in the basketball community. I definitely know that you're definitely a big part of the New York basketball culture, and just being somebody from New York that looked up to you and seen everything that you did. Can't wait for you to be back home and to keep making a push towards the basketball future. So,
hey, that's a fact, man. Like I said, like we said at the beginning of this pod. You're greater than your circumstances, bro. Bazzy, you when you get home, just tap into your roots, tap into who you are, and just do the right things. You'll be fine. Like your redemption story is gonna be insane. Speaking of redemption, Kanye West. Probably got to do my little lean in for this one too, man. I mean, Kanye. Where do we begin with Kanye? Because Kanye seems to be on a bit of a redemption story himself. Kanye this week apologized to a rabbi for all the anti-Semitic things that he said over the last, maybe 2-3 years?
Yeah.
Lost his Adidas deal. I want to say he lost his record label deal as well. I think he had a falling out with Universal.
Yeah.
Kanye lost a lot of things. Lost his family, was divorced in that time frame. And we had a pretty big debate on forgiveness a few pods ago. And Kanye leaves me so conflicted, bro. Because the thing is with Kanye is that it's not that we haven't seen him apologize before.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like, is this sincere? Is there something attached to this? Do you have music, merch? Kanye is always in the interest of Kanye. So this leads me to wonder, okay, we saw that video. You put that video out. You recorded it. You're apologizing to the rabbi. You're acknowledging that you're bipolar. That was another thing, too, on the topic of mental health. And this coming not too far off the Gucci Mane interview. I don't know if you've seen that on The Breakfast Club.
When he was with his wife?
Yeah. Very, very nuanced. Once again, one of those things that really touched home for me, having dealt with people who are close to me in my life who suffer from schizophrenia and bipolar disorder and substance abuse. It's like watching Kanye, I don't always know how to react. I don't know is this someone who I'm reacting because they are bipolar with an episode, or are we dealing with a narcissist who, picks and chooses when he wants to behave?
Yo, bro, listen. This whole situation with Kanye is very interesting, just for the simple fact that he's choosing again to which he said he wouldn't do, and this is what he considered it to being, is bowing down to them. Right? This is what he considered it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's sitting there and sound like he got his mouth full of gumballs.
It's some ugly grills, bro.
Yeah, of course. And he's talking to the rabbi or whatever the case is. Listen, Kanye, you as a musician, we love most of your work. You get what I'm saying? You apologizing to the rabbi in order for us to see this, in order for us to see a certain perception of you. I get it. Right. You want us to see this or whatever. I know your merch just came out too.
Right.
So you're selling your merch, $20 items. It's good for the people. You get it in 2 to 3 years. It's you get what I'm saying? Like
big baller brand type shit.
You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, the thing about it is that I just think that you're not going to control my view by apologizing now, and then the next time you may say something based off of your episode. I accept you for who you are. One day you may be anti-Semitic. The next day you may love them. I love you for who you are, just for the simple fact that I know you're going to switch. You may switch. You get what I'm saying? And I love myself to love what I love and not dig it more into you flipping the switch.
Right.
So, you know what, Kanye? Thank you for apologizing, moving past this point. I know, like everybody else, we're all growing and we're going through our process. From just looking at your patterns, there may be a flip. There may be
a
switch flip.
No, but
you know what I'm saying. So I'm telling you, the rabbi, all them. Just remember,
tread carefully.
Switch may flip.
You never know. You never know. We never know.
We know this, right?
We know.
Black people, we sit here, we know. So at a point where you do. Let's say you have somebody, I don't know, your friend is you dealing with. All right, this nigga, he's bugging. Bugging. Yeah, bro, you good. You're bugging. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is, Kanye.
Hey, but my thing was, right, I'm all for the apology. My thing is, he didn't apologize when he said slavery was a choice. I'm sitting here like, where we at? Who are you gonna go to Minister Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson? Where are you gonna go to apologize? Like he was on Drink Champs talking about how, like, oh yeah, I pretended to be a backpack rapper. I'm like, wait. Nah, bro. Like, I bought College Dropout, man.
Tell him, Steph.
I had your poster.
Tell him, Steph.
I feel like the Tyra Banks meme with we were cheering for you, bro.
Don't lie to us.
Oh my God, bro. What about, like, bro? Kanye, I mean, wore that red hat. Was on some all lives matter shit when black people were trying to fight for their humanity, quite literally, in the streets from police brutality. What else is Kanye? You wore a all black KKK uniform, and did an interview with academics. I was in complete bizarro land. Now I know Kanye has done bizarro things, like putting bleach in places that shouldn't be put. Bleach shouldn't be put. That was a disgusting line. I hate that album. I hate Life of Pablo. That's my hot music tape.
I just listened to that song the other day too. I just listened to that song the other day too. Father Stretch Arm. Yeah.
I fucking hate that album. Godly. Anything after Yeezus is kind of like, Donda was cool though. Donda was a solid. Like, that was like 2 thumbs up. I like Donda.
Graduation is it?
Bro, here's the thing, right? In all seriousness, I hope that Kanye West is taking his mental health seriously, because I can tell you, when I say firsthand experience, not as someone who fights or deals with any mental health issues or illnesses at all, but who grew up around it, it's not like a fever. You know, like when you can feel yourself getting sick, right?
Yeah.
Especially from the outside looking in, you can never fully tell when someone's gonna get an episode. There might be a few signs here and there, but it's not like, you know, you can put your hand on your head and be like, yeah, I feel warm today. Or it's not like, you know, you got this rash and you can go get some ointment before it gets worse. Sometimes these episodes come quick and they're furious and they may last longer than what you really think.
Trust me, I know.
Sometimes those episodes even lead to bridges and relationships never being the same. I don't know where Kanye is in his life, but I do hope that he's healthy. Like, the music to me, like, bro, listen, you gave me Graduation, Late Registration, College Dropout, 808s and Heartbreaks, My Dark Twisted Fantasy, and I'll even put in Yeezus there, right?
Yeah.
So the music thing, for me, I'm cool. That's all the Kanye I need. Anything else after that is just like, oh, and even the good music collab, all the Good Fridays drops. Like, I don't need no more music from Kanye. I need Kanye to not be so problematic and so, you know, because he's a loud voice. And whether or not he realizes it, like, you know, when you're that loud of a voice, when you're that prominent of an artist, you're a black artist, Kanye. You reflect on all of us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that is the torch that we carry. You know what I'm saying? Like, even for us on this podcast, like, we don't have the big platform yet, but we try to carry ourselves in a way that reflect well on each other. That, you know, that we try to undo these stereotypes that we didn't pick. It was cast on us. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you a question, and not to cut you off, bro. So, because I heard something interesting that you were saying. Like, do you feel that so you don't feel that everybody experiences a different? But, you know, when you was talking, you were saying, like, you know, do you feel like different individuals, you know, are faced with different levels of, you know, I would say mental illness, but some type of mental problems that they have to go through?
No, mental health.
Yeah.
Everybody has like some type of mental challenges, I'll say at the very least, right? And I think mental health and then mental illnesses are two like very different things. I think when you're starting to talk about, like, you know, someone who might be schizophrenic, someone who might be bipolar, someone who might be like clinically depressed, that's a little bit different. So it's all somewhat on a spectrum, but I think one is like an actual like medical thing. Because, like, let's say, for example, like, there's been times in my life where I might have been like depressed, right? But I don't think I'm like chronically depressed where there's like a chemical imbalance in my brain where like I cannot control my depressions, or my depressive episodes lead to really dark thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So I think it's a little bit different. Kanye, I think, has clearly displayed more mental illness type of behaviors versus, you know, some of the struggles where like everybody as a human might have a sad moment that leads into a depression, but, you know, through counseling or through just even like your friends, you might be able to pull yourself out of. So that I'll say that.
Absolutely. Bro, listen, I agree with you. You get what I'm saying? But, you know, I think Kanye, he has, you know, his mental illness that he has. I think it's hard. Like I think you were saying this earlier. You were saying like it makes it hard to, you know, or it breaks a lot of bridges that you may have because you don't. It's so quick and instant. We're dealing with those type of things. And speaking about his particular like being bipolar,
right?
And you know what, man, you know, I say more luck. You know, I send my best wishes to him as far as getting better mentally.
Facts.
Because I feel like anybody. It's hard for a lot of different people. It could be depression, anxiety. It could be anger. You know what I mean? But it's not really mental illness, but just dealing with it mentally. You know what I mean? So I'm not, you know, just speaking about all things because it's easy to make, you know, separate Kanye from all of us, like, you know, because he makes it easy.
Oh, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But I would always take into account that he's dealing with problems that we all are dealing with. And, you know, of course, his response to what he's dealing with is always the reason why we're like, come on, Kanye. But if we would look at the situation, we do accept that. Shout out to Sony, though.
Yeah, shout out to Sony. Sony got like sleep mode going crazy. Yeah, so, you know, Kanye asked for forgiveness, and you know how I feel about forgiveness. If it's sincere, the best way to see that sincerity is through change behavior. Now, who may not be as forgiving is Jim Jones. Jim Jones is a legendary rapper from New York City, and recently one Max B, who's been serving he served what, 16 years in jail?
Oh, similar, yeah.
Yeah, crazy robbery story. We're not gonna have to get onto all that, but Max B is free. He was at the Jets game. The Jets won while he was at the game.
Yeah, Max B.
You know, Wavy.
Wavy.
You know, the original,
wavy.
the original Wavy. Not even waves, bro. Had a fresh perm.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? What they call himself? Max Belly or something like that?
Big Avell.
Big Avell, man. Tupac's influences everywhere, but Max B was one of those artists that was really ahead of his time, and when he went to jail, it was like a movement felt like it stopped, so to speak. But he has been releasing music while in jail, and him and Jim had a very tumultuous relationship. It was Jim signed him, then they had beef. There was rumors that Max B fought Jim Jones. Max B said things about Jim's longtime girlfriend that I would not dare repeat. But prior to Max B getting out of jail, it was Mano on Jim and Mano's podcast asking if he's willing to forgive Max B. So I don't know, bro. How do you feel? Should there be some type of reconciliation between the two, or is it better to just those two set apart, live and let live? You know.
Hey, bro. Just make this short and sweet. You seen Gucci and Young Jeezy. You can respect each other, not be each other's friends, and just
That's
keep
a fact.
moving on. You don't have to like each other. But I would keep it as that, but keep it cordial, because there's a lot of people that love both of them. So Gucci Mane and Jeezy, it could be the same example, and I hope it is, because they both have great things to give to the culture.
No, I think so too. I've often said that, like, forgiveness does not mean that it absolves anyone of like their actions. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you have to be buddy. It's just like, you shouldn't live with like a hate in your heart or actively seeking revenge against a person. At that point, you're doing more damage to yourself than said person. So I do think there's a way for them to, be cordial. I've never been to New York, but I'm sure like New York's kind of like Miami in a sense where it's a big city, but it's also small. Like, especially when you're a rapper, you're gonna probably frequent this certain places and bump into each other at some point. So hopefully things just don't escalate into. But then again, too, these two are both like older gentlemen. Even though people like to joke and say Jim's like the oldest YN, you know what I mean? But I'm hoping that those two gentlemen can actually just keep it keep it cool, and I think like I said, bring it back to the Sebastian Telfair situations. Like, you look at someone like Max B that's getting out, that he has a chance to bounce back. You know what I mean? Like, you have a chance to bounce back and capitalize on your name. Max B hopefully releases some good music, all the melodic stuff he was doing back in 08, 09, 07. That's been music for the last 10 years. It's been your wave. So, welcome home, and I'm glad to see him out.
That's a big fact, bro. I agree with everything you said. Honestly, bro, like, it's nothing more for me to say. You said it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Max B, Big Avell, like, I feel like he home. Like you said, he already set the wave. I'm not going to even chop more onto it, but, let's see what he do next.
Facts. Man, bro, there was an interesting development in the boxing world, and Jake Paul's fight with Tank was canceled. It's then been replaced with a fight with Anthony Joshua, which I don't know. That fight can go either way, honestly. Like, Anthony Joshua, I kind of sold my stock on. Like, Anthony Joshua, I wasn't like the biggest fan, but I thought that like the fight for him to have was with Wilder. They never got to fight together. Both of them just fell off a cliff because they weren't really great boxers necessarily, but with the heavyweight division being so bad for decades, I thought that could have been a great heavyweight fight to bring the division back, but it never happened. So here we are, Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. And you texted me that it was like, does this make it harder for fans to distinguish between like celebrity boxing and real boxing? And I felt like no, because I never felt like boxing was a casual fan sport. Like, it's been behind a paywall for decades now.
Yeah.
Boxing in itself is confusing because there's a bunch of different belts. It's different leagues, WBC, WPC, all, it's a little bit frantic. It's not one unified thing like the UFC or anything like that. So if you like boxing, you actively seek it. Even if you're not going to pay for the fight itself, you're actively going to a sports bar, maybe a club somewhere, a lounge that will be showing the fight, and you make a night out of the fight. Like, boxing fans are really dedicated to boxing. You know what I mean? Versus the celebrity fight thing, which is cool. And I mean, people probably don't know the difference between seeing someone fight with gloves and actual boxing. Like, maybe the casual fan doesn't know what it means, like when someone slips a jab or when someone uses their jab to break a guard and counter, those type of things. You get to see Jake Paul, who's a YouTube sensation turned celebrity boxer, and he hits people really hard and they fall to the canvas.
So what does that make me let's say if I'm gonna say this situation because he hasn't gotten to that space. Let's say Deontay Wilder, right? I'm a Deontay Wilder fan. He's a boxer. I'm a big fan of his. He ends up going and he fights Jake Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, right, that he's a boxer, I'm a fan of his boxing, and he goes fights Jake Paul, and it's more of an exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
Not really count towards his record or anything of that nature,
Right.
At that point, like, I'm a casual. Let's say I'm not that casual fan because I'm a big fan of his. I know everything that's going on, right?
Right.
How do you want me as a fan? You don't think, because you just said it. Yeah, Joshua. Yeah, I like Joshua, but now he's doing this, so I don't know. Doesn't your heart kind of sink a little bit when you see them do stuff like this?
It does.
As a true boxing fan, doesn't your heart sink a little bit when you see this?
It does. But yeah, it makes my heart sink in the same way it makes my heart sink when I see people say Drake's the best rapper alive. I couldn't help it, bro. It was right there. It was a layup. 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 That nigga.
It was not a layup.
It was a layup, bro. It was right there, bro.
Yeah,
because
hey, look, you know how people, the lane is not open. You know how somebody still drives to the basket. And you're like, what are you doing? That's what he just did.
I forced it, bro. Turnover.
You forced it.
That was a fumble.
But you were still open though, right?
I was still open. I was still open, bro. I don't care if the defense collapsed. I was open.
Yeah, right. It was a good shot. Yeah, I feel you,
It's a
bro.
great shot. 100% shot.
We ain't passing you the ball no more.
I'll get off the backboard. To answer your question, it does a little bit because it does feel like it cheapens the sport a little bit. Where like it gets to a point where like anybody with a following just thinks they can do it. You know what I'm saying? What's the name of the YouTube family? The Ace family. Austin. I think he had a celebrity boxing fight.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, randomly. I was like, bro, him? The dude who, bro. Yo, that was the weirdest time on YouTube for me, bro. When people were literally like turning quote unquote millionaires.
Yeah.
Over just like showing their kids. Like, I think people were literally having babies at one point to put them in front of the camera and be like, hey, look, this is my kid. Isn't he cute? We're going to play a prank on his dad. And look at him coming home. And now he's pissed. He has mud all over his face. The most bizarre time on YouTube. Yeah. Probably one of my least favorite eras of the internet because I just thought it was weird. I'm like, and then fast forward from what I heard, they're divorced and the wife moved on. I saw a clip of him saying he's happy for her, and I mean, as he should be. To me, it's just like weird because it's like y'all just monetizing your life. Like I don't get that aspect of it. I don't really desire that much of it. But he had a celebrity fight. Was it Frank Gore? I think it was Frank Gore and Darren Williams had a fight, and it's like I get it. Most people just like seeing someone get knocked out. Like, we all seen Fridays, you got knocked out, fuck out. We all like seeing someone get knocked out. But boxing's so much more than so. Like, I can see a great fight where no one gets knocked out. Like Canelo versus Jamal Crawford.
Yo, yeah, that was a great
Nobody
fight.
got knocked out, but that was supreme boxing. Most people probably don't know what it means, like when two fighters are in the middle of the ring and they're not just exchanging blows, but you're seeing a duck and a counter. It was phenomenal, bro. That was as close to like real life Dragon Ball Z as you're gonna get. Is that fight? Like, just an
Like a great
amazing
battle.
fight. The celebrity boxing thing, though, I mean, we live in an era now where, you know, if it makes money, someone's gonna do it.
Yeah, but the label of boxing, right? It's so general, right? It's used for it's not like I know they say professional boxing, like professional basketball, right?
Right. They call
But
it exhibitions.
yeah, but
yeah.
boxing is being used. The label is more being used, and it's selling more for the amateurs, right? And not more, of course not.
But
the
it's
amateurs
selling,
are able to use that label, right? And it's like as a boxing fan, and I'm talking about the casuals out there because the casuals surround the people who are the core fans, so they make up most of the base.
That's true.
Right? And I'm just talking about the casuals. It's like, bro, like if I see any of these like these celebrity fights, bro, I'm just looking like, all right, is this what the direction boxing is going to? You get what I'm saying? I'm not looking more like, oh, is this the professional box? This is what professional boxing is going to. I'm looking at it like, is this what they're doing with boxing? And now let's say we take something like, because I know that's all over the place. Let's say we take something like the NBA. It's really, really hard. It's really, really easy to distinguish between the NBA and any other form of basketball. You get what I'm saying? So if somebody wanted to consider themselves NBA or their NBA this, they can't really do that. They can say basketball, right? People can draw off of just basketball itself.
Right.
But they know damn well they better not go around talking about NBA. Yeah. And I feel like that branding part with boxing.
No, it's
people
true.
Who love boxing.
It's true.
You get what I'm saying? We need more of branding around what actual boxing is, because there's a lot of people out there able to take advantage of just the boxing name and the generalization of it. And I just think we need more there because
I agree. I mean, there's been discussions for years and years on whether or not even they should just combine all these different belts into one thing and make it uniform. But then boxing is such I think you would call it like a free market sport, where like if I can command, like that's how Floyd Mayweather got rich, that's how Mike Tyson got rich, that's how even Gervonta Davis and the like if you're able to command, Canelo Alvarez is a box office darling. Like if he fights so I know we were talking about boxing for a little bit and branding, but I think there's just branding a lot of things, bro. That honestly, bro, there's some topics I want to talk about with branding, because I feel like there's some rebranding that needs to be done with Christianity. There's some rebranding that needs to be done with hip hop. There's some rebranding that needs to be done with even politics. There's a lot of things that need to be rebranded so we can start calling things for what they are instead of lazily labeling them. You know what I mean?
But when is that going to happen? When people are living off of that, taking advantage of that? There's going to be people fighting against that just because they are living off of that. You
That's
know what I'm saying? Like,
you're
living
right.
off of people's pure naiveness.
No, yeah, but people are naive, bro. People been naive. You know what's okay? This wasn't originally a topic because this happened like last night, bro. But I'm gonna get you caught up because I was thinking about the Rory and Mal podcast, and how they might be getting out of it. So it could be. Listen, last night what took place, right? Everybody's been talking about the Grammys because of the nominations that came out over the last week or so. Long story short, GNX and Let God Sort Them Out are going head to head in a lot of different categories, which I would say there's three factions, right? There's Kendrick stans, there's Drake stans, and then there's hip hop stans who don't care, who just want they really just don't care because both albums deserve it. Whoever wins it, clap it up. Who cares, right? Problematic podcasts like the Rory and Mal podcast, which are, I put quote like a hip hop podcast. I barely watch them because honestly, I think they're kind of monotone in a sense, and they kind of, since the rap beef just turned into like a Drake propaganda podcast, and Rory and Mal and Daenerys were talking about the category, and Daenerys pretty much went off talking about how if Kendrick wins, she'll be so upset, blah, 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 blah. And that's been kind of like a Drake propaganda talking point. Like, Kendrick wins too much. He's doing too much. He's tours too much. Anything he does is too much. Mind you, Kendrick ain't saying a word.
Yeah.
Right? But that clip went viral on Twitter, and then people brought up about all her Kendrick hate, and she said, I don't have any Kendrick hate, I'm objective. They brought up mad receipts of her just not being objective, right? That led into Rory stepping in, him, and it's like, you know how black people do, it's like, oh, you laughing too? Oh, you want some of this too? You trying to jump into this?
Get
Rory is a white podcaster, a white hip-hop podcaster, getting into black spaces. They pulled up all his old tweets. Oh my God, they found every type of racist tweet you can think of. Him making weave jokes, him making jokes about black women, him just doing the most. And they were, I mean, even Maul came in, they were calling Maul a coon. I seen, you know, whenever black people step in to defend a white person who's like, obviously being caught red-handed being racist or saying something disparaging against black people, you know that meme with from Django with Steven and holding was like, nah, Calvin. So that just led to like, it's still unfolding. Like this is almost like real time because this happened last night.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, dang, bro, we have an unreleased episode. Quick backstory to y'all. We did some practice episodes, and we did an episode where we were talking about Neon is his name? The streamer kid?
Okay, yeah.
And we were talking about how he was going on the Breakfast Club and how they brought up all the old dirt, and you know, we were talking about how, you know, metaphorically speaking, how a lot of these guys use black bodies to ascend themselves to a certain level, and then once they get to a certain level, they want to act like they didn't just metaphorically like kill off a bunch of, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like this thing. It's like the easiest rage bait to say racist stuff. You know what I'm saying? To say mad things. Yeah. So it was just easy to me. It was just interesting to me, I should say, to see that being so common, because also this year something similar happened with another prominent hip hop YouTuber who's white. He does album reviews, whose name is slipping from me right now. Give me 1 second. I feel like all this is interconnected. Man, I cannot remember this gentleman's name. It'll come to me. But he had a similar thing, bro. And it kind of made me speak. I was like, man, are there any? Well, no. The Alchemist. The Alchemist might be the only one I know that to this day that haven't. Because even Eminem, they caught with him saying the N-word and he was mad at a girlfriend. I'm like, yeah. I was like, you know what, man? That's why him and Freddie Gibbs got that album. Should have been nominated for a Grammy. Alchemist is a solid dude. He really don't be doing no problematic stuff.
No.
Like at all. But man, bro, I'm not sure. Is there anything else you want to get to the people?
Man, listen, I just want to tell y'all, you know, well, you know, there's one thing I did want to talk about, bro. Mm-hmm. Before we go, the Knicks, right? I just want to let people know that, you know, the championship this year, we're coming, right? Mm-hmm. Pause. Anyway, so like y'all know, Knicks is about to win this year. But nah, I just want to thank y'all all for tuning in. Any comments that y'all do have, subscribe. We got more topics. If y'all feel like some topics y'all want us to address, please comment, because we'll really look at that comment, shout you out, and definitely continue to go ahead and talk about some things that we know that you guys want to listen to. So, you know, please show support. You know what I mean? Right. He said there was a hype button. There's a hype button on that.
Bro, I'm trying to figure out that, because I think maybe the hype button's when we get to a certain subscriber level or a certain view level. Yeah,
listen, let's get to that subscriber level we can get hype.
Get us hype. Hey, listen, we want to hear from y'all. We want to engage with y'all. We've had a few of y'all talk to us in the comments, said some mean things about us in our barbershop etiquette.
Hey, man. Listen, man. I just want to thank y'all. Listen, for commenting on a short. You know, please, you know, view the video, get some more context, and we definitely appreciate you putting that comment out there. So thank everybody that comments. For sure. We appreciate everything that people do here.
And hey, listen, go Dolphins! We beat the Bills this week. They didn't think we could do it. We did it.
Yeah, the Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl
sometime, hopefully in the near future. Maybe not this year.
It's not happening. Yeah. It's not happening.
It's not. But listen, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for your patience. Thank y'all for helping us just like be motivated and sharing the videos, liking the videos, subscribing. We're really trying to get better at this week by week, and I hope this episode brought laughter, motivation, and even just some thoughtfulness. So remember, be kind, be nice, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.